Hello, this is Dr. Harrington, and this is Lecture 5, Page 1, which covers Section 4.3 and 2.2 in your textbook. We have new functions from old, translations and reflections, so we're going to combine two or more functions. So in this example we have let f of x is equal to the square root of x plus 2, and g of x is equal to 1 divided by x minus 4. We want to find g minus x, and we want to include the domain. Now what this notation means is that we're going to have f of x minus g of x. That's what this notation actually indicates. Now if I rewrite that out, I know that f of x is equal to the square root of x plus 2, and g of x is going to be equal to 1 over x minus 4. So now I have a new function. Now to find the domain, I really have two things to consider. I have to consider both functions. So for the first part here, I need to have I need the x plus 2 has to be greater than or equal to 0. In this case, that means that x has to be greater than or equal to negative 2. Now the second part here, the 1 over x minus 4 here, I have to note that I can't divide by 0. So 2, I need that x minus 4 cannot be equal to 0 because I cannot divide by 0. So again, that means that x can't be equal to 4. Now, really I have two things going on. The first one says anything can be greater than 2, negative 2. So here's negative 2, and then I can have anything bigger than that. The second one says I can have everything that's not 4. So here's 4 over here. I can have everything but 4. Now, what I need is the domain has to satisfy both. So here's what I'm going to have. The domain in this case for f minus g of x is going to be everything bigger than negative 2, but not 4. So that's going to go negative 2 to 4. Cannot include the 4, so that's what we have here, the open parentheses, union 4 to infinity. So really that's it. Now the second one, I have f divided by g of x. That's the same thing as saying f of x divided by g of x. Okay, and if I rewrite that out, I know that my f of x is going to be equal to the square root of x plus 2 divided by g of x, which is 1 over x minus 4. Now notice from the very first step, I have to note this, is that from the very beginning, because this is division by 0, so I want to note that here x cannot be equal to 4. Okay, now when I rewrite this, I'll just put in a couple of extra steps here to see this. This is going to be the square root of x plus 2 divided by 1 over x minus 4. And remember, when you divide, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So that's the same thing as saying x plus 2 times x minus 4 over 1. I'm just taking the reciprocal. So f divided by g is going to be the square root of x plus 2 times x minus 4. Now, when you look at this, it may look like all I really have to consider is the x plus 2, taking the square root of that. But remember, way back here, so you have division by 0, so you have to be very careful. So you have to make notes of these things as you start writing them out. So the domain for this guy here is actually the same as the one above, the first example. The domain, first of all, this tells me that x has to be bigger than or equal to negative 2, and you have this issue from the very beginning. That's still in there. So the domain for this is still going to be negative 2 negative 2 to 4, parentheses, union, parentheses, 4 to infinity. So the trick to these domains is as you write them out and as you do them, you have to keep tabs of exactly what's going on with the domain in each step.